made the decision that our young people, K through 12, will continue to go to school as they are remotely and will not go back in the physical building this academic year.
To all of the amazing students of promise in Bedford, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, Garfield Heights, Maple Heights, and the Warrensville Heights City School Districts, I pray that you and your families are well and safe during this COVID-19 pandemic, keeping your spirits uplifted, continuing to aim high and persevere during these difficult times. We've been able to deliver a variety of opportunities for out-of-school time learning into the summer, and will continue that practice this summer. However, this time, virtually and online. This added new level of enrichment to your high school experience is what Students of Promise is all about. As we expand our Summer Bridge program to a virtual format, our goal is to continue to help you reach your full potential, not just during the school year, but all year round. You are smart, you are important, and you can achieve. You are Students of Promise. Continue to work hard, even as you enjoy your summer months. Believe in yourself as we believe in you.
Look at that. They look like little. We'll be here for a minute. I'm grabbing a chair because this is a workout. Okay.
She got it yesterday, so.
I know her name.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8.
Right on. Here's mine to go in the oven, okay?
Okay.
You put your butter on it, and you put your egg, the butter, egg, and salt. Did you sprinkle salt on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go and put this in the oven.
Why don't you read what you got so far?
Okay, so why didn't we riot? Why didn't we riot for Tamir Rice? A 12-year-old unarmed black boy killed by the police. Why didn't we riot for him? He should have been graduating this year, but his life was taken by a coward behind a badge. Why didn't we riot? We wanted a change, but did nothing to make a change. We rioted and protested all around the world for George Floyd, and a change happened within a week. Breonna Taylor's murderers are still free. Tamir Rice's murderer has a new job as a cop, again. His indictment was declined, so he's still a free man. The cops who stood by and did nothing were suspended for only 10 days. The 911 operator who didn't tell the cops that he was just a kid playing with a pellet gun was only suspended. These people are free, while Tamir is 6 feet underground. Why didn't we riot for Tamir? His mother lost her child, and the cops that took his life go free. Officer Lohman worked in Independence and was emotionally unstable, but they still put him out on the streets. During training in Cleveland Heights, he had a breakdown, and he was still hired. This is the man that murdered Tamir Rice, an emotionally unstable person who should have never made it past training. Why didn't it make the news that he works as a cop in a small Ohio village because he deserved a second chance? Why is it we watch murders happen on camera, but still nothing happens? Change needs to be made. Justice needs to be served. Change has been made in George Floyd's case, but what about all the others? We now have a voice and people are listening. Let's use that voice and make the other changes we wish to see.
Sally, where's my breath? You did that.
For the sake of everyone, just to introduce to some and present to others, as they say in church. Ambrose is a good friend of mine, a good friend of Students of Promise, going back some, 8 years or so, 9 years or so. First met him when I was in San Francisco, and the students from San Francisco, Students of Promise, actually went to Morehouse commencement where President Obama was the speaker. I think that's when we first connected back in 2011 or 12 or whenever that was. But I won't steal all the thunder. He's very capable of introducing himself. However, Ambrose is a member of the King family and brings priceless family history, legacy, accounts, and just an experience that you cannot get from a textbook.
I am Ambrose King Jr. I am a proud member of the family and a fifth generation graduate of Morehouse College. I am an educator here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I hope that when you all graduate, you would choose the HBCU to go to of your choice. I'm standing at the Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Social Change, built in 1979 by none other than Miss Coretta Scott King herself, who you see in this double crypt with her husband, Martin Luther King Sr. Martin Luther King Jr. They met in Boston. She was from Alabama, getting her master's degree at the New England Conservatory for the Conservatory of Music. And he was getting his PhD at 26 years old from Boston University. And she happened to sing at an event, and he heard her sing, and of course he wanted to know her name and where she was from and all about her. The rest is history. They married in Alabama in 1953. You would know 2 years later, he was in the national headlines when the federal government had them desegregate the buses in Montgomery, Alabama. Where people stopped riding the buses because blacks had to sit. When they came onto the bus, they had to sit in the back of the bus, or they had to pay their money in the front, get off the bus, and then go to the back of the bus. And sometimes the bus drivers, the white men, were so disrespectful to the black people that would ride the bus. The blacks would pay their money, get off the bus to get on the back of the bus, but they would pull off. And so Dr. King was a new preacher in Montgomery at the time of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, which you would know one of his sons is named after that church. His name is Dexter Scott King. And they called on Dr. King to lead the protest to desegregate the buses of Alabama. And if you remember that, or if you go do your research on that, it took a whole year, but the Supreme Court finally outlawed desegregation of public transportation, and it started in Montgomery, Alabama. And this is the neighborhood of Dr. King. Of course, we're at the King Center, and I'm gonna try to walk you up the street to where he to where he actually was born. But this is his neighborhood. I'm going to turn the camera around. As you see, the church, the brick building that you see is Dr. King's church. It is the original church that his grandfather founded. His grandfather, Reverend Dr. A.D. William, Alfred Daniel Williams King. This is the original Ebenezer Baptist Church. And it is where Dr. King grew up and, got all his spiritual teachings and first heard powerful messages from his father and his grandfather about rebelling against segregation. Of course, this is the King Center logo. It's founded in '68, but the center was built in '79 after they raised the money. This is the only building. As you see, the buildings across the street, that's the far brick one to the left is the new Ebenezer Baptist Church. The building to your immediate right, with Martin Luther King Visitor Center, all of this is a part of the National Historic Park. It is owned by the federal government, including the old Ebenezer. I don't know if you can see it, old Ebenezer Baptist Church. I wish we could go on the inside that you see how and hear Dr. King's voice, because it's always playing in there. This is where the funeral of Dr. King was held in 1968. Also in this church was senators from the United States Senate, congressmen, presidents who attended his funeral. Of course, the Kennedy family. The Kennedy family always was compared, and vice versa, to the King family for the assassinations that happened in both families who were trying to change America. Also in this church, Martin Luther King's mother, my grandmother, Alberta Williams King, was also assassinated in this church in 1974, shortly after her, on a actual Sunday morning, she was on the organ playing the Lord's Prayer, and everybody had their heads bowed. It was right after they took up collections, they sang the Lord's Prayer. And a rifleman that was sitting in the balcony of the church opened fire trying to kill Martin Luther King Sr. And the deacons that ran to cover him, one of those deacons, Deacon English, was assassinated. But then the gunman turned his gun on to his wife, Alberta Williams King, Martin Luther King's mother. And she was murdered, and she was pronounced dead at the church here at the old Ebenezer Baptist Church. The center, the King Center, is the only thing that is owned by the family, including the crypt and the bodies of Martin and Coretta Scott King. That is the only thing that the family owns. They own the name of Martin Luther King as well. The name is copyrighted, and this institution holds the right to the King estate. So the crypt. So I shouldn't necessarily say that, but there is a plank that goes. If I was to bring you on the back side of it, when the president is here, we walk across. There's a plank that goes back there behind the water that we walk over the water, and we stand. The family stands up here on this circle while the president lays the wreath, the vice president, or something like that. But So they are not in the top part that you see. They're in the bottom. They're under the water.
Under the water?
They're under the water, because you got to understand that if somebody wanted to destroy his body, and they thought that they was hitting the crypt, only the crypt would explode. You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
Yeah.
So like, what it look like? Like it's just.
Can you? I want to go to the back to show the kids how we entered on the plank that we put over the water to walk up here. And what I see is blocked off, and I don't know this guy. Is he working with you all? This guy in the gray?
He's actually the director for here, so he will be the one to talk.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I don't feel like talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't know me.
And you know, everything. Hold on, because everything like anything that normally they would be able to do,
Yeah.
can't do it now.
Oh yeah, because of COVID. Yeah.
What they got right now is basically
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to show them, but hopefully, next year when they come, they'll be able to see everything, I've always been able to go back there, and I asked him, but I didn't know him. I don't know him, so I don't feel like, and I'm on a call, a Zoom with the students, try to show them and give them a little history or whatever, but I don't know. So it's okay. It's fine.
So there's so there's like a mini opening, like you can see the body, or you just have to like.
No, you can't see it. No. I see when they sealed this together. I watched them basically put this together. If you could see the lines, if you was here, you could see the lines. The way they put this together. You see that bottom piece?
Mm-hmm.
They lowered them in there.
Oh.
See the bottom piece? The very bottom. They're under there. They're so if you lift all of that up, you'll see them. I watched them do it. We thought it was very fascinating for them to do it. We thought it was really fascinating.
So like if you were to go in there now, and like if you were to lift everything up now, like it would be in perfect condition, like they would be in perfect condition.
No, Crunchy Coretta would be deteriorated by now. Until she heard. I'm sure she would be. You ought to be an undertaker. It seems like you're fascinated with it. Back here, you see Daddy King on the far left. His wife, Alberta Williams King. Then in the middle with the white hat and white jacket, that's Coretta Scott King. And behind her is my great aunt, who's still living. She is 94, 95 years old. That is Martin Luther King's oldest sister. It was only 3 children. And that was Christine, Martin, and my grandfather, Reverend Dr. A.B. Williams King. And so somebody asked about the Nobel Peace Prize earlier. Do you see it back there? Do you see it? It's a picture of it back there.
Oh yeah, I see it.
You see it? Okay. And that was the family photo right after he got the Nobel Peace Prize. As you can see it at the very bottom. That's his brothers and sisters and his parents and his wife. But those pictures are so many others. But I see that. Go to the other side. To the other side. Okay. So, you don't see this picture often, but if you would, see if I can get a closer shot. Do you see Dr. King there with President Lyndon Johnson?
I think I do.
You see
Yeah.
that picture in the Oval Office?
Yeah.
If you refer to Bloody Sunday, it is when they decided to cross the Edmunds Pettus Bridge to walk from Montgomery to Selma. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was from Montgomery to Selma. But Dr. King was meeting with Lyndon Johnson about that, leading that march. And Lyndon told him, I can't send the troops. There's nothing I can do to protect you all. I can't send them in. Martin's response to Lyndon Johnson, who was the president, of course, when JFK was assassinated, Lyndon Johnson was his vice president. He became the president of the United States. Dr. King told Lyndon Johnson, if you don't send the troops, it's going to be bloodshed. And they said that in reading the memoirs of Lyndon Johnson, that's when Lyndon Johnson got up and he jumped up and he said, when I see the blood, I'll send the troops. And if you notice that Dr. King did not march with John Lewis in that march because he knew that there would be bloodshed that day. And Lyndon Johnson, after seeing the dogs and the tear gas and the blood on Bloody Sunday, not only did he send in the troops, and that's when you see this picture of Dr. King. I don't know if you can see it really good. It's pretty dark, but of him and his wife leading the march in Selma. I don't know if you all can see that. Can you all see that? Is it too dark?
It's too dark.
Okay. Well, if you go and look and see that picture of them leading the march to Selma, they have the troops, and then they have all of the whites and blacks together marching, and that's when Lyndon Johnson came on TV and quoted from the Negro spiritual, "We Shall Overcome." He summoned Congress that night to pass the Civil Rights Act of 1965, 64 and 65. And because of that meeting, Dr. King told him that if you don't send the troops, there will be bloodshed. And Lyndon Johnson said, well, that's what it's going to have to take. I have to see that the world has to see it. They have to see the dog attacks. They have to see the bloodshed. They have to see it in order for it to make sense for me to send in the troops. And that's what happened.
Ambrose, once again, my friend, we thank you so much for your time and the priceless, and I do mean priceless, reflection and history and candor and that you provide to the students and to us as adults. Just totally appreciate you. I can't say it enough over the years that you've been accessible and responsive to our program, and we are definitely honored because those students on the call, you have information and account that, at least right now, no other student in the United States of America has what you just experienced. And we don't take it lightly. And we appreciate you. We look forward to seeing you next spring once it's, once it's safe travel.
Right. I can't wait till you all come so they can actually see the inside of the church, inside of the home, inside of the center, and everything, because you don't get the feeling until you walk into Old Ebenezer, which houses the spirit of Dr. King and his father and grandfather. The pews are original. Everything's original in the church. including the organ which his mother, Alberta Williams King, died and was assassinated on. Everything is original, and you get a good feeling once you go in there. It's a very humble feeling, and so I just hope that this little tour and information inspires the young people to go out and find something in their community which is worth saving, that's worth preserving, talk about. There's a lot that we can do. There's a lot that we can do in our personal communities to kind of uplift them. We just got to find out what it is. And so I would say to each one of them that I find it very highly knowledgeable and enthusiastic to do your own genealogy research. Start there. Find out what your grandparents and uncles, aunts did. Did they fight, in the World War One, II, or for the Confederacy or anything? You'll be amazed, where your people come from and what they have contributed to society. But just knowing their names, it should be good enough. So FamilySearch.org, Ancestry.com, all of this is, your history is just as good as the next person's history. So I, want you to get on those websites and start researching your own history and find out who am I, who am I and how, where from which I came, who are my grandparents, who are my great grandparents, things of that nature.
Appreciate it. Thanks again.
Tell you what, let's kick it off with what we're up to today. And if any questions hit you as we go through it, feel free to just let me know to pause and we can tackle it. Same deal. It's a small group today, so it's going to be nice that we can take a minute and actually go over anything on your mind. So today is our last day together talking about this college process. And as you know, we've kind of taken the zoomed out to zoom in approach. So we tackled what's going on after college. What is this all for? How do I go about getting in? How do I go about paying for it? But I want to say that the smallest piece that's the most important that we haven't talked about yet is testing. So I think testing on the surface does not sound like the most fun thing to talk about, and I get that. But I think that the more comfortable you are with the tests that go into your high school and college career, the more comfortable you are both with what's on it and just knowing how they can help you, the less panic you have when you sit down to take them. And I think that that is how you get the confidence to really rock it out, just like you do in school already. And they can lead to some pretty cool opportunities. So I think it's an empowering thing to figure out kind of what tests are coming your way, how you can do well on them. We'll talk through what tests you might find in high school that can impact your life after high school, both in college and in other ways. We'll talk about some strategies for those tests, and then we'll do some sample problems together. So first part is kind of PowerPointy, but it'll get pretty interactive by the end for sure. Cool. All right. So I'm going to pull up. Let's see. You all see this okay? It's up like that?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to go over just the basics of 5 key tests that you might see over the course of your high school career. So some of these are going to look pretty familiar, right? ACT, SAT, we know those are for college. There's also the PSAT, the ASVAB, and work keys. So we'll go over each one just so you know kind of what's on it, what's it for, all that jazz. First off, ACT. So the ACT, the college entrance exam, used by most colleges and universities in making admissions decision. When you hear the ACT, what are some, or when you hear the word ACT, what are some like words or feelings that come to mind for you?
Big test.
Big test, yes.
Also, a big important test.
Yeah, so I'm hearing like it's big in a lot of ways. It's got high stakes here.
Yeah.
Hmm. So what does the ACT do for you? What are the stakes of the ACT?
That exactly, I don't know.
That's super fair. That also leads to, I think, a lot of stress, right? What are you saying, Jasmine?
It can show you what type of colleges you want to get into.
Oh, I really love the way you framed that, actually. That it shows you what kind of colleges you can look into instead of just showing the colleges about you. Yeah, that's definitely true. Hmm. So when I hear you talk about the college side of it, it's about admissions, right? Like getting actually accepted into this college. There's a lot of different ways that the ACT is connected to college. I think that that is connected, Deshaun, to what you brought up about the bigness of it, right? Like, it's got a lot of different components. It's got a lot of different ways that it can impact you. And so it just feels very big. I want to kind of reframe that, though, into it can be big in a good way. It doesn't have to be big in a bad way. Because if you know what it can do for you, and if you walk in prepared, then you're basically in the driver's seat of a car heading exactly to where you want it to go. So it's scary if you walk in, you haven't prepared, but we'll talk through it. You'll be just fine. So one of the empowering things about the ACT, I think, is that the focus is on logic and reasoning, not on pure knowledge. So it's not just saying, did you learn this thing about a semicolon, yes or no? It's asking you to reason through, does this sentence make sense? And you already are practicing your logic and reasoning just by being alive and just by being a student. So, number one, you're working on it already. Number two, though, it's easier to improve just from exposure and just from practice. Logic and reasoning are things that are not fixed. You can always, always grow at them, even when you're an adult. So it's kind of designed for you to be able to get better and better, which is why the earlier you start prepping, better for you as you go. Usually, the ACT is taken for the first time in spring of your junior year. I know that a lot of juniors this year were disrupted in terms of their testing because of COVID. Jasmine, what was your sort of test process like? Have you taken the ACT or the SAT yet?
Yeah, I took it. It was before all the corona and stuff. So.
Good for you. You're on it. That's awesome. Are you scheduled to take it again?
I think I want to retake it to see if I can get a better score, so I get into a different college.
Sure. We can talk about what dates are open too. You should know for this coming year, colleges are still deciding exactly how much importance to put on the test because they understand that, let's say you wanted to take it again in June and you weren't able to, you might not be able to show them the score that you're proud of. So I love, love, love your idea to take it again. And this is not to discourage it. It's just to say you might see in your application process that there's some colleges that say, send your score if you want. So in that case, I would talk with your counselor about sending your score if you're proud of it. And if you're not proud of it, that's okay. If they say it's optional, it means they mean it. There's many more colleges that are saying it's optional this coming year. And we'll have to see how that plays out for younger students.
Okay.
So remember how we talked about fee waivers for college applications? How you can get the fee to waive away? Same deal with the tests. There's a waiver available for you to take it 2 times for free after you take it with your school. So the key is that waiver kicks in when you sign up. So if I sign up to take it in July for free, and then July I sleep in and I miss it, that counts as one of my free times. So you want to make sure you're planning when you actually register and you make sure it's a day that's in your calendar, you're good to go. So what does this ACT actually do? Like Jasmine says, it gives you a sense of potentially what colleges are a good fit for you. It gives colleges an idea of how you may perform in their classes, but it's not the only thing that they're looking at. Mostly they're looking at your GPA and your transcript because that's what you're doing every day. The ACT is one Saturday. That doesn't show who you are as a student on the daily. So yes, the ACT is important. We'll go over why, but the cool thing is it's not the biggest piece of it because the biggest piece is who you are every day. And honestly, you're showing up to a summer program in the morning to learn about college, like we know who you are every day, and it is good. If you ever had to take a math placement test, they might just look at your ACT instead. So that's kind of nice too. Saves you a test later. We went over a little bit of the differences between ACT and SAT here, but really the key is ACT has that science section that the SAT does not. You can see that the time overall is pretty similar, but the SAT has those more challenging questions and more time. So that's kind of a summary of that. Again, I recommend taking a practice test of each, see how it feels. If you hate one and you love the other, cool. You naturally have one you gravitate toward. If you did kind of comparably on both, great, you're good at both. Colleges will look at whatever test you did better on, so it doesn't hurt to send both. There are also online, there are a lot of different resources where you can compare, like, is a 20 on the ACT similar to a 1100 on the SAT? It'll kind of make them more analogous so you can see how to compare them. And this is just to show kind of how it works across the country. So not saying you have to take the ACT instead of the SAT, but you'll see since Ohio is blue and blue is ACT, a lot of folks around here will take the ACT. Any questions on all that before we get into the PSAT?
No.
Cool. So moving right along, those are definitely the most complicated ones. These guys are going to go quicker. PSAT, P stands for preliminary. So it's a version of the SAT that comes first. So it does count. It's not practice, but it's preliminary. It's not the same as the SAT. Basically, you can take it between 8th and 11th grade. Focus on the test is what you learned in high school. And depending on how well you score, you might be eligible for different scholarships. You'll hear about the National Merit Scholarship, and that's kind of the most common one, where if you do really well on your PSAT, you automatically have a scholarship even before you take the SAT. So on the test, similar structure to the SAT. There's no science section. There's a section with a calculator and without. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours, same as you'll see on the real SAT. Your total score can range from 320 to 1520. And same deal, it works where it totals your score in the math side and in the reading side, and then it just adds them right together, stacks them right on top. You can see that the national average goes up between 10th and 11th grade kind of automatically. So what I will tell you is you can absolutely study for the PSAT, and it'll help you get some scholarships, but most students across the country aren't studying. So that means 2 things for you. One, if you study, top of the pack, automatically. You are prepping yourself in ways that most people are not and taking that responsibility, and it'll definitely pay off. Number 2, you can see from these averages, people tend to improve kind of by accident, just from being in school. So these tests are designed to test where you're at based on where you're at in high school. And by that, I mean, you're gonna know more math when you're a junior than when you're a sophomore. You know, you're going to have read more books when you're a junior than when you're a sophomore. So your brain is acting like a sponge automatically just by you being a student. So that's what the PSAT will reward in terms of a score. So all this is to say, you all paying attention in school and trying your best and doing well on that, that is sufficient. Like that alone is going to help your score rise. You can do more in terms of practice though to get it even higher. So now we've got the ASVAB. So anybody interested in the military?
I am.
Yeah.
I've considered it once or twice.
Okay. So you're kind of a bit familiar. You might have heard about this then. We'll see if we can get through it before we get kicked out here. Basically, the ASVAB stands for the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. All that means is, depending on how well you do on the ASVAB, it determines what job you have in the military. So it's available nationwide at these certain stations that you have to go to. So you sign up, you register to take it, and then you go to this testing site and you take it. Any branch of the military, no matter what, you'll have to take the ASVAB. In terms of what's on the test, it'll test science, math, word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, electronics, automobile information. Essentially, it's getting at what would you be doing in the military here. It's okay that you don't ace all of it. It's helping put you in a category that makes most sense for you to excel. It looks at 4 critical areas that you can see there. And that score, your AFQT score, that determines whether you're qualified to enlist. In the other areas, it determines how qualified you are for certain bonuses. So a high score will improve your chances of getting a signing bonus or getting the job you want. So basically, it's looking at 4 things to see if you're in, and then the rest to see how much you get paid and how well you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. This just delineates the number of questions and the time per section. You can absolutely find this online too, but this just looks at, some sections are as short as 8 minutes or 7 minutes. Some are as long as almost 40.
My name is Mr. Cummings, but call me TC. It's a lot easier to remember. And what I usually focus on at the ropes course, I usually have 3 goals and 3 standards, but I pretty much condensed it. So the main thing I want you all to have today when we participate is have a little bit of fun. Okay, I want to try to build some team camaraderie. Does everybody here know each other?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody knows each other. I want to build some camaraderie, and I really am looking for feedback from all of you because I'm going to ask for feedback. And I just think it's really important for everyone when someone is speaking to really give them that total respect, and let's hear them out exactly what they have to say. So I always like to start out with an icebreaker. So the only materials you'll need for today, if everyone can make sure we have a piece of paper and a pencil. So I will give you a few seconds to grab that. If you could grab one big sheet of notebook paper, because on the front we're going to do a little introduction with some numbers. And on the back I'm going to do a little activity a little bit later. That's pretty cool. So if everybody has a piece of paper and a pencil, I'm going to do a little number trick. And how this number trick works, it's kind of an introductory piece. And everyone's going to pick a different number, and I'm going to guess your answer. And what I would like for you to do when we're done is not share your answer. I will call on you, and I will ask you to say what number you started with, what number you ended up with, and tell me a little bit about yourself. So here we go. Bear with me. I want you all to pick a number between 1 and 20, and don't tell each other. Just pick a number, write it down. We're going to do a little addition, subtraction, division. It's not hard. So everybody have a number?
Mm-hmm.
Between 1 and 20. Okay. Right now, I want you to double that number, multiply it times 2. And with that number, I now want you to add 22 to that number. Add 22. And now with the number you have, I want you to divide it straight in half, so divide it by 2. And now I want you to take the very first number that you thought of and subtract from what you have right now. That is your answer. Don't share it yet, because I'm going to go around the horn and ask for you to say what your first number was that you started with and what you ended up with.
Well, you can subtract the first number from what?
From what you had, from the last number that you had. So, is everybody done? Anybody need more time? If not, I'm going to start with Autumn. Autumn, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So can you tell me what number you started with and what number you ended up with? Because before you all start, everyone's answer should be 11.
I got 11.
Okay, so what did you start with?
I started with 17.
Okay, and you ended up with 11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, outstanding. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Demetria.
Okay.
I'm about to be going to 10th grade.
Okay.
I'm 15. My favorite color is turquoise.
Okay.
I'm a Capricorn. Period. Period.
And what's your favorite subject in school, can I ask?
Social studies.
All right, social studies. Autumn, I apologize because I was starting with you and I just got a little bit sidetracked. So Autumn, what number did you start with?
18.
And what was your answer?
11.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a summer kid. My favorite color is pink and black.
Okay.
My favorite subject is English and math. And I can't wait to go back to school.
Wow. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I have a little section that'll give you guys a chance to I really want to hear from the kids about change. We're going to focus this main subject on change today. So, Autumn, I appreciate your input. Very, very helpful. Alasia.
Yes.
What number did you start with?
20.
20, and what was your answer?
11.
Outstanding. Tell us a little bit about you.
My name is Alexis. I am a Capricorn. My favorite color is black, red, and purple. I'm 15, going to the 10th grade.
Okay.
And me and Demetria had the same birthday.
Oh, that's nice to know. And see, it's easy for me to relate because my youngest daughter is 15 and she's going into the 10th grade. So she's right in line with you young ladies. So hopefully maybe I can learn something from you that I can take back to help teach my daughter. So, Tatiana, I think you're the last one left.
Yeah.
How are you this morning?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, great. What number did you start with?
13.
And what was your answer?
11.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about Tatiana.
I'm 16, going to my 12th grade. I'm a Virgo. My favorite subjects in school are math and English.
Okay. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. That was kind of neat to hear. I think it was Demetria was talking about how she couldn't wait to go back to school.
No, that was Autumn.
Was that Autumn? I'm sorry. But that, yeah, everybody's laughing at that. Huh? I know this pandemic that has erupted has really thrown school into a loop, and I've seen kids really suffer through this pandemic because without that school, that structure line has gone away. The contact, the facial contact with the teacher, the classroom experience with your friends and so forth, it really has made school very challenging, not only for the students, but the teachers as well. So I hear it from both sides. So that was my introduction. And if anybody wants to learn that number trick, I'll teach you. It's just the way mathematics works out. You can pick any number that you want. You can pick 215. And as long as you go through the same numerical sequences, your answers will all come out the same. So it's a good trick to play on your parents at the dinner table as well. So if anybody wants it, I'll write it down. I'll email it to Al, and he'll make sure you get it. Okay?
I want to say good evening to everyone. Welcome to our Summer Bridge celebration for the magnificent students of Promise who just did such an amazing job this summer. An amazing job. Give yourselves a hand up, blow your car horns. Blow your car, there you go, all right. That's the new applause. The new applause is your car horn. You know, like when you do poetry and you do like this, well, the new applause is the car horn. And we know Warrensville Finance is the mayor, so we're not gonna have any issue with all the noise we make out here. Is that all right? All right, there we go. Okay, what I'm first gonna do is call out the names of who's here in our linkage coordinators, because for those of that you do not know, our program, it's not just a summer program, we are year-round. It's just because of COVID-19, we had to convert how we were going to meet the needs of our young people over the summer, and we had to do it virtually, and I think we did a very good job under the circumstances. In the next, say, 10 minutes, I'm going to pan around the parking lot and find our partners and just have them speak just for a second of what they did with your students, your scholars, your children over the past 5 weeks with the Students of Promise virtual Summer Bridge program.
What we try to do is just to provide social and emotional learning techniques to the students. We try to focus on how to develop good teamwork and develop better communication skills and reduce conflict in their lives.
Me and this gentleman, we go back, I think it's over 25 years. And the same type of experience. I met this gentleman when I lived in Huff and worked in Lexington Village with the former late Councilwoman Fannie M. Lewis, but also one of my other hats is music. So I met this gentleman through music, but it has turned into a fellowship, a brotherhood, a partnership, and a crusade for young people, including his children and my children.
So, hello everyone, appreciate y'all coming out. This year was new for all of us, and I was asked to reinvent myself again, and I think we did an awesome job.
We had a blast taking a journey around the world making delicious cuisines, and super excited we're gonna extend it for 4 more weeks. And my lovely sweetheart here, come on over. She's gonna actually go shopping with me and pick up all the groceries so she can help plan the menus and have the behind the scenes of what it takes to pull off this Zoom class.
Our partner, our sister, Kimberly.
You know, first of all, thank you for allowing me to do this for the Students of Promise, Bob Ivory. I gotta also thank my girl Denise McCray, who hooked me up with you. Anything that I can go back home, in a sense, to Cleveland, honor to me. So I first would like to say congratulations to all the students of Promise. What a great program.
I want you to blow your horns so they hear you all the way in her hometown of Shaker. Let's hear it for Kim Whitley.
And be appreciative of the teachers and the speakers and the mentors of this program that supported you. Love on your parents, be appreciative, and thank your parents. Thank your parents for driving you certain places, getting you food, even making sure you're in front of that Zoom camera so you could be in the class. You know, thank them. Hey, mama, thank you for giving me them noodles. You know, you guys, I'm so sad that I'm not there to see you, to hug on you, because someone did it for me when I was your age. Somebody supported me. You are ready for success. You have the education, the preparation, the determination, and that you have to take the action. Be fearless. I support you. I love you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Give it up, give it up. But when I say one of our mantras is, when you stay ready, you don't have to. Students of Promise, we stay. We stay. That's right. Just give us a few words of what this summer experience was for you. What's your name and your school?
My name is Kiara McGee and I'm from Maple Heights High School. During this summer, I learned a lot over these 5 weeks. I learned how to cook. I learned how to show myself in a more, let's say, good way, positive good way. I learned how to love myself for who I am and not worry about who says anything about me, because I am me and that's all that matters.
Hey everybody, I'm David. I went to Warrensville Heights High School. I'm a senior, class of 2020. Those are my classmates over there. Thank you. I've been in Students of Promise for around 3 years, and every sub-program like this, and I just want to say it's just a great program, in and out, through and through. I highly recommend it to anybody. It showed me skills and leadership qualities that I've gained, and I've helped other mentors and students gain, and I've just been blessed with this opportunity. I still owe Mr. Ivory that chess rematch. I won the first time, guys, I didn't lose. And it's just been a great experience in every which way. Thank you.
My name is Jalen from Bedford High School. I'm a football player for the Bedford Bearcats going into my sophomore year. This program has helped me meet new people and learn new things about stuff. And this is a great program to join because they teach you lots of things that you need to learn in the world.
Give these young people a hand. This is our future. Give them a hand. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Okay, I think that wraps it up. I think we got it in an hour like we said we would. I want to thank everyone that came out. You could have been somewhere else, but you were here supporting our future and our young people. As I say, we're going to go to Fredericks, which is 22005 Emory Road. They're waiting for us with a dinner. There's some other partners that I cannot leave this platform without thanking, and those are our educators that also partner and make this possible, starting with Maple Heights High School and their superintendent, Dr. Keenan. Give it up for Dr. Keenan. Bedford High School, Dr. Selico. Give it up for Dr. Selico. Heights High School, Dr. Kirby. Give it up for Dr. Kirby. Garfield High School, give it up for Mr. Hankey. And last but not least, from the friendly city of Warrensville Heights, the one and only, and my frat brother, Mr. Donald Jolly. See, I'm speaking into an existence because that's probably what's next for him. Without those educators, without those leaders, without those partners, we would not be here.